Welcome back to the Bulldog Farm, everybody. On today's episode, we're going to talk about skin care, different skin issues. I'm going to share with you the different products I like to use for clearing up skin issues on my dogs. And we're also going to be breeding little pecan pie today. We got semen coming from California. It should be coming here. It should be getting here any second. FedEx is on its way. We'll do an insemination on pecan, and then I'll show you some of the different products I like to use for clearing up skin issues. Before we do this breeding, let me remind you that today's video is about treating and beating common skin issues that may affect your dog, like Demodex, mange, dermatitis, and I'm going to show you my 5 simple solutions to beating these issues. And if you're an aspiring dog breeder, after this video, I invite you to go check out the Advanced Breeders Network. It's a place where you can get all the resources to breed like a pro, including my downloadable guides, like my puppy medical guide, that will show you how to treat and beat common issues with neonatal puppies and your nursing mother. Check it out.
Welcome to the comprehensive guide on preventing, treating, and beating common health issues in neonatal puppies and nursing mothers. Neonatal puppies are extremely susceptible to various illnesses that can lead to certain death if untreated or improperly treated. So it is crucial for breeders to be knowledgeable about these conditions to ensure the immunity of their puppies and health of their nursing mothers. In this guide, we will cover important topics such as parvo, giardia coccidia, hookworms, upper respiratory infections, aspiration pneumonia, mastitis, different types of prolapse and pyometra. By equipping yourself with knowledge and understanding of these common fatal conditions, you can ensure the well-being, survival, and longevity of your puppies.
All right, we got Freak Jr. We're going to pull out the sample. We're going to check the quality of the sample. Then we're going to spin the sample down, and we're going to pull out all that extra prostatic fluid and semen extender and condense the sample down to about 1 or 2 mLs of mostly semen and just a little bit of extender in prostatic fluid. Still cold, that's good. It's not warm. If it was warm, that would be an issue. So it's not necessary to use these types of syringes, O-ring syringes, but you're gonna get your best results from a syringe like this. So it's got the O-ring right there and then plastic on the bottom. Typically, other syringes, that whole bottom piece is gonna be made from that rubber, meaning the rubber will be touching the semen, and it's, how can I say this? The rubber is supposed to be like toxic to the semen. It can kill some of the semen. So these O-ring syringes allow the rubber to not touch the semen, so you should have better results. Meanwhile, I'm warming up the semen. You can use your body heat, armpit, wherever, however, hold it in your hand, but your body heat is going to be the best way to bring it up to temperature, to bring it up to body temperature. You want the semen to be roughly the same temperature as the dog's internal temperature when you do the insemination, so the semen doesn't get shocked. Semen is alive, it's still waking up though. So 4 mLs of water on one side, 4 mLs of the semen on the other side. Put it in our centrifuge. We're gonna go up to 1500 RPMs for about 2 minutes. So out of the 4 mLs, you can see that is all our semen right there. That little pellet at the bottom is all the semen. Everything else is just extender and prostatic fluid. So we're going to get rid of that. We don't need all that. Now we have our sample of 1.5 mLs that is way more condensed than that original 4 ml sample. We're going to leave about 2 mLs of air in the syringe behind the sample so that when we do the insemination, afterwards that air is going to push everything out of the pipette and into the female. Now we can put on our gloves, get ready to do the insemination. I've already let Pecan out to go to the bathroom. You want to make sure your female goes pee before you do the insemination, because the last thing you want her to do is pee right after you do the insemination. You want to make sure she doesn't pee for at least 30 minutes after the insemination.
I'm just a love machine. Yeah, I won't work for nobody but you. Yeah, baby. I'm just a love machine.
There you go. All right, Pecan, come over here, mama. All right, you're going to get her in an inverted position. You're going to insert your pipette. Pipette's going in really easily, which is a good sign that she's ready when she's nice and open. Want to make sure you get right to the base, but you don't want to go too far or too hard. You don't want to injure her, which you can do. Going to put a little bit in. Going to stimulate her a little bit. You can see her tightening up. Stimulate, stimulate. It lets her pull it in. And give her a little bit more. Wait a little bit. Stimulate a little bit. Allow her to pull it in. When we're done with this insemination, I'm going to show you some of the products that I like to use when dealing with skin issues. We're going to let her sit for 15 minutes in this position, absorbing everything. Hopefully that semen's getting in there, finding its way to the eggs to do fertilization. So before I show you some of the products, let's talk about prevention. Let's talk about what we can do to prevent skin issues before they happen. Something that happens with bulldogs a lot is they get yeast infections, or they get very yeasty. That's why you see them licking their paws a lot. That's because there's yeast in between their paws. So some of the things we can do to eliminate yeast is feed a food that is low in corn. So I like to make sure that corn is never in the first 5 ingredients of whatever food I'm feeding. I preferably feed a food that has no corn in it at all for my bulldogs. My Corsos don't seem to have that problem, but with my bulldogs, I try to avoid corn at all costs. Another thing is not to wash your dog too much. Of course you want to keep a clean dog, but let's remember they're dogs. Their skin has natural oils that it makes that fight off things. So if you're washing your dog with chemicals over and over and over, it's not allowing the skin to make those natural oils that actually help the skin. It's like having good bacteria in your gut. You don't want to get rid of all the bacteria because some of that bacteria is good bacteria. Well, it's the same thing with the skin. You don't want to strip all those oils off constantly because some of those oils are good and they're needed for the skin. So by stripping those oils off constantly, you're actually going to increase the skin issues that you have. So when you do wash your dog, it is very, very important. This is the most important part about washing your dog, is drying it off. Drying off the dog completely is the most important part. If you don't dry off that dog completely, especially its paws, that moisture is going to collect, and then that moisture is going to turn into yeast. Make sure you air dry their paws and get all that moisture out of their paws. So another thing you need to do, especially if you have a large dog program, is you got to be routinely checking your dogs. Routinely make sure you're checking your dogs and seeing if they have any hot spots, seeing if they have any skin issues that need to be addressed. Because it's all about addressing them as soon as possible. The quicker you address the issue, the better chance you're going to have at getting rid of the issue or treating the issue. Remember I was telling you about the O-ring syringes? This is what your typical syringe looks like. So you see how the bottom is that entire rubber piece. Where in the O-ring syringes, you just have a rubber O-ring and then a plastic base. So none of that rubber touches the semen. All right, we did our pecan pie breeding. Fingers crossed it takes this time. That's actually a rebreed. We attempted this same breeding 8 months ago, but it didn't take. So today's our second shot. Fingers crossed, fluffy puppies are on the way. I told you a little bit about prevention. Now let's talk about if you actually have an issue. You got a few options. You go to the vet. You're gonna spend $50 on an exam. You're gonna spend who knows how much for a skin scrape or for blood work or for whatever else that doctor sells you on once you're in that room. That's gonna cost you a lot of money. Your next option is you start ordering these gummies that you've seen on social media, or these pills, or all these different little products that talk about allergies or itching or clearing up skin issues that you don't really know if they're actually going to work. And again, you're just throwing money at the wall. You're just spending money on things, not even really knowing what you're trying to solve, what the issue is. So what I like to do, if I see a skin issue, the first step I like to take is an iodine wash. Iodine therapy medicated shampoo. This stuff right here is amazing. This is my go-to if there's some kind of skin issue, no matter what it is. Red bumps, flaky skin, whatever kind of skin issue you're having, the first step should be this iodine therapy wash. I think it's like $20-some on the website, $27, something like that, I can't remember. But a regular shampoo is gonna cost you $10. So you're spending about what, $15, $20 extra on an iodine therapy shampoo. So you're not making a big financial investment. And 9 times out of 10, this stuff is gonna clear it up. So my recommendation, if you have a skin issue, the first thing you should do is wash them with this iodine therapy shampoo. When you wash them with this, you wanna lather them up, and then you wanna wait 10 minutes, a solid 10 minutes. Pull out your phone, start playing on your phone, whatever you gotta do to make sure you really stand there for 10 minutes, letting this iodine therapy shampoo work. Rinse them off, dry them off, and a lot of times that's gonna clear it up. Depending on what the issue is, like the other day, Remy came in and her whole belly was full of bumps. I mean, just bumped out, red, rashy, bumped out. I hit her with the iodine therapy shampoo, I let it sit for 10 minutes, and then I followed it up with one of the products that I think every dog breeder should have. New stock. Again, very cheap. I think this is like a $15 tube at Tractor Supply. On Amazon, it's like 30 something. They charge you like double on Amazon. So find a local farm store, feed store, or Tractor Supply, and you can get this at a really good price. It stinks, it smells nasty. Before you use it, it separates. There's oils and stuff in here that separate. So you wanna like mix it around in the tube before you let it out so that all that mixes together, and then just lather it on your girl, depending on what it is. If you just got one little hot spot, obviously just put it on the hot spot. But like I said, Remy's whole belly was covered in bumps and all red. So after the iodine wash, I just lather her up with new stock. I mean, just put it on there thick. And this stuff is amazing. It does everything, and you just leave it on. You don't wash it off. You just lather it on and let it wear off. So this is my go-to. If I have any skin issue, and I'm telling you 9 times out of 10, these 2 products right here, knock it out. Now, sometimes you do gotta go to the vet. Say you do this and you're still not getting the results you want, it's time to go to the vet now. But my whole point is don't just rush to the vet right away when you haven't tried some cheaper, easier options. especially ones like this that normally take care of it. Iodine therapy, new stock, go to the vet if you still can't figure out the problem. Now you need to go to the vet, you need to get that skin scraped, you need to figure out exactly what you're dealing with and how to address it. Now, another product you can use, coconut oil. Again, really cheap, really effective. You can use this topical and you can feed it to them. Teaspoon or a couple teaspoons into their food so that they can take it in and absorb it, and also topically right on the skin. Whatever issue you're dealing with, you can rub this coconut oil right into it, and you'll be surprised, a lot of times the coconut oil will clear it right up. Now, when it comes to breeding, a pre-breeding treatment you should always do before, not a pre-breeding, pre-birth. When you have your pregnant mama, a few days or the night before, ideally the night before a C-section. We're breeding bulldogs, so we're doing planned C-sections. If you have natural birth, try to identify the day right before you think she's going to go into labor, and you're going to want to wash her with chlorhexidine. Chlorhexidine, not sure how to pronounce that. But you're going to do a chlorhexidine wash on your dog before she has the puppies. This is going to clear up everything that's on the skin. Any parasites, any bacteria, anything that's on the skin, this chlorhexidine wash, it's concentrated, so you only need a little bit of this. And again, when you wash it, leave it sit for 10 minutes. Lather up the dog, especially that stomach area where the puppies are going to be nursing. Let it sit for 10 minutes and then rinse it off. And this is going to strip everything off that skin so you have a nice clean surface for those puppies to nurse on. I hope you guys learned something today. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's do a quick recap. These are my 5 simple solutions to attacking any skin issue. I start by feeding my dogs coconut oil on the regular, 2 to 3 teaspoons a week. And if you have a skin issue, you can use the coconut oil on it topically. If that doesn't work, you can move up to the iodine therapy shampoo. You're going to lather that on the dog, let it sit for 10 minutes. You can get this on my website, bigbonebulldogs.com, and I'll leave a link in the description. After you wash with the iodine therapy, you're going to move on to new stock. You're going to want to lather the new stock on the dog and let it sit. You can get this at Tractor Supply or on Amazon. And if you're about to have puppies, the night before your dog goes into labor or the night before you're going to do your C-section, you're going to want to do a chlorhex wash. You're going to want to wash your dogs with the chlorhex. Again, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes on the skin. This is going to kill any parasites or anything that's on the skin before those puppies come into contact. And the 5th solution, if none of this works, is now it's time to go to your vet and get a skin scrape and really figure out what's going on. If you have any questions on something that I didn't cover, feel free to ask me in the comments. I get back to everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.